seconds. And we're live.
And we're live. It's Autograders. It's Sam and Paul. Hey. Boom, boom, boom. I'm trying to find a relevant window. Who knows what's going on here, really? Oh, yes, I haven't screen shared yet. Let's do that. Yeah, so we've got half an hour before the client.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Well,
you want to take a nap or something?
Oh, no. Now I'm feeling. Earlier on today, I was just feeling like, oh, but one of my boys had nightmares and was in bed with me in the night.
Get out the hammock, hang it up in the background there, and just swing back and forth for half hour.
Yeah. But actually, no. I somehow, after lunch, I got a bit of work done, and now I've had a coffee, and yeah, I feel like we're on.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Go on.
I don't suppose you would want to try the installation script. I'm trying to make it easy on you, at some point.
Yes, I mean, I guess I guess if we just look at where we are, almost, I guess I feel like I need
take stock.
A little piece of paper here on which to kind of, I guess I should be doing this in. But what it seems like we have is we've got our production grader, which is currently supporting homeworks 0, 1, 2, and 3, and we've got our staging grader, which is currently supporting homework 4. And I guess actually, if I go and find okay. I don't have time to look at that, and that's boom, 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 boom. Did I actually get rid of those? Oh, okay. But so, edX, Spring 14. So this is the production grader, and so this one is. This is it's on branch Spring 2004. 2014, is it? Yeah, actually, there. Okay. And if we go SSH, AWS, EDX, Spring 14 staging, this is on
Spring 2014.
I think that
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
No, see, this is on pool develop date.
Oh wait, which repo? Right, I was looking at HW.
Okay, yeah, no, the HW. Well, I think at least for considering HW, and correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but it seems to me that
RAG.
In terms of, so this is both RAG.
Right.
It seems to me that and this is like going through the deployment of this over the I guess are you like focused on your screen rather than my screen, or I guess
I clicked onto you. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It seems to me that at least as regards the kind of getting homework 4 where it should be, actually the homework repository doesn't have anything to say about the Rails version of homework 4. Right? Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't have any.
Like, let's.
Maybe just homework 3 was involved. I guess part of the reason I probably had that perception was because I always will run the tests as part of setting things up.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order for the test to pass, you would have to have things coordinated, I guess, between the 2 different versions.
Right.
But yeah, and it seems like only homework 3 has that problem where it's doing.
Well, I don't think there's a problem so much as I was just. I mean, homework. If we look at homework, I didn't even get out of the habit of calling these by numbers because that's all going to change real soon. But if we look at BDD Cucumber, I hate that name. Well, BDD Cucumber is a reasonable name. But so homework 3. Well, but I guess even homework. Well, I guess homework 3. But even the part of so that isn't homework 3 relies upon having a particular version of Rotten Potatoes, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you look at the Ubuntu install shell script, it'll have the description of what you.
Yeah, we've got here But we can see, for example, here on this is the production system. We can see that we've got this Rotten Potatoes 3.1 here for homework 3, and that's something. I mean, I was away that weekend, but I guess we've got like an outstanding. I mean, another thing to be doing is sort of working out what's going on with all these different. I mean, to be honest, with this, I have a feeling with a lot of the trackers that just. I don't know. It's a little bit like an albatross. I don't know. The trackers are not necessarily. They're kind of filled with stuff that was relevant, and actually some of it's very important, but it's kind of not. You know what I mean?
I mean, part of it is I think, like, I'm not necessarily sure when, accept, reject, or deliver. Some of it may be when it gets deployed onto the server. Yeah, that's when you want to click, the final button. Yeah. Some of it may not be because it's just getting into the code base.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this one. I mean, the Git immersion grader was only ever used for the Spox. I'm not even sure. Was it actually deployed to production? I don't know. But yeah,
well, it was used for the TA training course, right?
It was absolutely. I just don't remember which server it's running on. I mean, we can look that up. I guess I'm less worried about the accept and reject things so much as I am about. I think like these are things that Armando has sort of said that he would like to do, or
oh yeah,
I mean, there's kind of like, I mean. There's a kind of a cleanup aspect to the graders that we need to address. There's also, I mean, I guess if we just look at it here, I mean, I can't do that.
Some of them, quite a few of those may have already been, pulled in to develop by now.
Yeah, I mean, and we can, we just need more time.
But then also, does that count? It just getting into develop, does that count as being an accept reject?
No, that would be kind of being. At least finished. I mean, or I guess you click finish if you put the submit the pull request, and then the merging or otherwise is kind of, I think, independent. The fact that it's gone into develop is. But if we look at this, is like we've got the issues that that I'm thinking of here now. Is BD Cucumber is still on 3.1, right? We've got,
yeah.
So I mean that's the kind of thing that's like. I guess the difficulty we have in some ways is we don't have lots and lots of people working on Autograders, and people like we're ready to look at these homeworks for us. I guess if we got like homework 3, okay. So we have got here. I think that this was So I added this. We need to. But anyway, the homework 3 has been released. It's kind of while this would be fantastic in terms of just bringing us all up to date, and the fact that we managed to do it with the homework 4.1. It's not like a priority in terms of delivering a stable course to the students right this second.
Oh, actually, and I do have some pull requests in that match up with that, but I just hadn't seen that in the icebox there.
Oh yeah, no, I think I just added that the other day. It's no biggie. I'm just trying to review where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely gone through and updated all of the repositories at some point. That was at 3.2, like 16, or 14. Yeah. But then also that's a good way for me to find my place and just add 3.2.18 in there, and it seems to work across the board pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, what makes me nervous about the whole project is that the tests that we've got we haven't got any end-to-end tests. We've got these tests that they work kind of like within the grader itself, and maybe I'm too paranoid about this. But I mean, if we look at, did I mean to do this? Anyway, yeah. As far as the homework. The BDD site. I mean, like at least as far as in order for the graders to grade these, homeworks 3 and homeworks 4, it doesn't matter what version of the homework repo they're on so much. In as much as we've got these, changes like the autograder itself. In the case of the homework 4, it just consists of this. And so this doesn't change from, at least at the moment. And for the autograded component here, again, the components in the homework are, there's this thing, which we still don't necessarily understand wonderfully, and then we've also got this, which I mean could be influenced by that would be the dangerous thing. For example, is if something that this is ends up paying that we would get a different behavior by switching this from 3.1 to 3.2.18. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and then also, I mean, there's all the other packages that are, changing in the background. Like, could be Cucumber, could be Spork, could be,
But at least as far as the homework, this SaaSbook/HW repository is concerned, we don't have any 3.2.18. This is not locked to a particular version of Rails in any sense, right? Although we do have this public thing in here, which has rotten potatoes. This is actually not used for the purposes of the grading, right? It's kind of unrelated to the grading effort.
BDD Cucumber. No, it isn't. Or that's. Wait, which one are you looking at? Okay.
I was going to say, because we've got the same thing. Both for the homework repo, we've got basically a rotten potatoes skeleton in both BDD Cucumber and BDD TDD Cycle,
which
it's
everywhere.
I believe we might be I think you're probably using for the CI, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's not actually used as part of when the student submits something to the grader. This is not actually used, right? It's not. If this was still on 3.1 or whatever, which I think in this case it is, but that doesn't have any impact on the cycle of a student, working on the homework and then submitting it. Did you know what I mean?
Well, as far as let me look at which one you're looking at again. This is B. So if you see on the screen here, I mean, this is just I don't know why this is in the script, but it's in there, and it says the CD homework BDD Cucumber public rotten potatoes and do the special gem set creation import.
Right, that's for the Spork. Where do we run the Spork?
Spork is just further down, basically.
But which directory is it?
It's
running. From the look of that, it's running rotten potatoes. Okay. But so I think what it is here is we are using this rag3 gems gem set here.
Right.
Right. That's where I happen to have stored it. But I think we're not using the rest of this thing here. But that's an excellent point that we've got. It's relying upon the gem set. But that gem set, in principle, could be in this rotten potatoes homework 3 solution, and then we could remove this completely, right? This public rotten potatoes.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't sure why it was in that particular direction.
I think that's just that was just me. I think first time around, I didn't realize we needed this homework 3 solution separate thing of rotten potatoes. I had assumed that the rotten potatoes that we were running in was this skeleton. I had thought that it was tightly linked in, and in fact it's not. So. Yeah, but so okay. So I think we have a agreement there. I mean, BDD Cucumber is on 3.1, but we've got a bug for that, and we don't have to worry about that immediately. The key issue is I kind of again maybe overcautiously on the staging grader, I just put rather than pull the thing into Spring 2014, I just switched over to pull develop date. To allow me to kind of switch the grader back again relatively simply.
Gotcha.
But again, maybe overly paranoid.
That's based on develop branch, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But I guess what would sensibly be the case? Well, my key concern is is the homework completable? And so
for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you've submitted the whole thing. You were saying you think we need to add a note about you should.
Yeah, I caught a couple of people on chat after I posted that in Slack about it might be a good idea, and then I went and and people were in fact encountering that.
Right, but you can go ahead and make that change in the system.
I thought I better talk to you about it first.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. But I think but that sounds please go ahead and make that change.
Okay.
So, but you can do that.
Yeah.
I guess.
In fact, I'll get it up on screen now and get you to just verify while we're here.
Yeah, that sounds great. I guess if we look at this issue that this one guy is having here, do you have any idea why this guy is getting some sort of problem where he's getting the fatal? He's saying that his cucumber and aspect tests are passing locally.
Okay.
I don't know if he, I mean, I guess the thing to ask him is, because the other thing is,
I saw there was some follow-up there. I didn't get it.
No, I mean, basically that was just, no, the follow-up is, I mean, I'll paste
unhelpful. The link. Yeah.
I mean, it's myself and another person suggesting minor fixes and him
Coverage
saying
report generated.
it didn't work. I pasted the link in there if you want to look at it directly. I was just going to go over to on here. Yeah, because like for I mean, I think what I'm going to do is ask him. I mean, this is the. I mean, were you saying that people, even when they successfully, they still get this error system exit thing?
Yeah, I can get that up here too. I'm actually in the courseware, so it should be right there. Development HW4. So here's my successful submission. 9 out of 9, 40 out of 40 for that part, 100
Right.
over 100 overall. But then let's see. Oh, no, it's not showing on here.
No,
Production.
Okay.
Let me check
I'm going
here.
to just ask. Can I confirm that you cloned the this repo when starting?
Okay, here you see it on staging. Let me resubmit, see what's going on for sure. Production, and then I've had a special. Of course, I'm not. Got to go to the VM.
I think here. I mean, I'll say to him, can he email me the code? Anyway, but so you've managed to successfully get the homework to pass. So that's one of my major worries taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do all of the parts of the homework. I copied over a lot of the stuff from the existing solutions file.
No, but that sort of implies that. So that's one of the things that we've also got here is now that the so add note about director attributes. What is it? Accessible? No, what is it called? Attribute protected?
Adder accessible, yeah.
It is accessible. Okay. The other issue is that now in the repo, kind of the solution is incorrect. We kind of this is for the homework 4 in the homework repo. That
right. I put in a pull request for that.
Okay, to update it. Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is that now that we've seen that the homework 4 is kind of stable here and seems to be working, at least for this one, that makes me think of, what we could do here. I mean, we're kind of, with this is like not ideal. Where we want to be as, so that's our current situation. Kind of, the ideal situation is what we want to have really is the production grader with we want it to be like this. So we want to merge develop date into spring 2014, and I think the first step would be to merge that in and deploy it to the staging grader. And then if we test all the homeworks and homework 4 on the staging grader, we could then actually actively pull that into the production grader. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize, I wasn't sure if you're planning on doing that, you know, but
Well, that's an interesting question that we have for ourselves is, do we do that? We could do that, this week. Whether it's a good idea or not is another question.
right.
I mean, I guess at least we know that develop date is working to grade homework 4 on staging.
Right.
So it seems like it's relatively low risk, assuming that the develop date. Actually, so we go and look at the. If we go and look at the, so this is RAG.
And I am not seeing that system exit on production
No.
or staging.
I mean, I seem to remember having like a note in the system before about that's like is his features directory called something different, or do you know what I mean? Like there was
Right.
some.
Oh, yeah. If he hasn't set up the simple cov, if he's just trying to submit, the skeleton, but then he didn't put the simple cov into the cucumber or what is it, app.env or
Right.
env, sorry, env.rb
Okay.
or that kind of a thing. If it says though that for that person, it looked like it had set up the coverage, which
Well, it seems he's getting some kind of thing here about the coverage report. I mean,
Yeah.
I've basically asked him to email me a copy of his code,
Yeah.
and probably, we can maybe put speculating about what he's actually done on a back.
Does it say he has 6 or out of 7 lines covered?
Yeah.
That's not very many lines.
No, I mean, I think there's probably some issue somehow, something, and maybe he's not running coverage
Or
locally.
he didn't put it into something.
But anyway, let's. I mean, of course, feel free to if you have an idea.
I have no idea. Yeah.
To do. Feel free to post that in there. But let's see if let's get
Not
his code.
not if it successfully generated the coverage, because otherwise, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. But so if we look at Spring 2014, have we got a pull? I guess the pull requests are so. So this is the devel update. So you've got.
That's the one off develop, right? And the other one is if
okay.
we went off of Spring 2014, which I think you had based on master originally, right? We should double check that.
I had. But I mean, if we've now got, I hadn't necessarily realized that. What that means is that we've got maybe the develop code is now, actually this develop date is successfully grading.
Partly under test, yeah.
Right. So, and particularly since it seems the last homework, it certainly seems like there's no loss to merge develop date into develop, except to the extent that we aren't, our test coverage overall is not great, but nobody is relying on on the develop branch working, right?
Just developers.
Just the developers. So, and I mean, but we've got also that Travis is telling us that it's working, but
oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what that means, but
no anymore. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that we've got is kind of an issue here is now that we have the skeletons are in separate repos.
Right, and that was my quandary: is like, where do I do the pull request to? Since it's supposed to be, a public repo, you can't do a pull request of private stuff to it, right?
Right, but you. So the thing now is moving forward. Maybe this is not is clear. Is with this is. This is the skeleton. I mean, I think ultimately, the skeletons are here. But what we need to do is we need to move some of the CI over to this one.
Right.
Or at least, I mean, maybe
everywhere, basically, right? Everywhere needs its own CI because you may commit something to that repo.
Yeah, I mean, unless we can have commits to this repo fire off the CI on other repos, but that's another story.
Huh.
But so, we could, I guess in the first instance, just also the problem is if we have CI stuff in here, that's confusing for the students. But so what it would seem like the important change to make on the homework repo would be to update the CI. I mean, I think what we need to do, at least with this one, we need to delete this. Like if we look at what we've got in here in public, right? I think sensibly we remove, this this code.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's I put this into here. It's like I think this is a chore, which is like remove public rotten potatoes from and this is, I guess I'll go over here.
Rag
yeah, this is from. We want to move it from it's Salzburg HW.
BDD TDD.
Yeah, I think generally so like this includes BDD TDD cycle and BDD cucumber.
Oh, and I mean,
let's start
a few others.
and the other one, but let's start. Yeah, and others, but let's start with BDD TDD cycle.
Right.
I would say, and I think that this should prompt reworking the CI to rely on the public repos for these skeletons. Yeah, if that makes sense.
And then so the pull request for like the solution then.
Yeah, I mean the solution would still stay here. Like I think the BDD cycle, the solutions would stay here. Like the solution, we can have, a tar gzip version of the solution can be there. Although I guess in the ideal world, it would, rather than being tar gzip, it would be just you'd have the whole rotten potatoes thing there, and you could unpack it, or you could pack it up as necessary.
Right.
It was easier. The problem with having the GZ in there is that you're like, what's inside it? I don't know, and it's like you can't do a pull request to the.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking about was more. So now we have these two separated things which are somehow related, but
Yeah, I mean, but they were still already these two things that. I mean, what would be more sensible would be to have, rather than having a solution as a tar file in there, would be to have a kind of like a hidden branch of the skeleton that was like the solution. You want to have like a diff. This is the code changes that one would apply to the skeleton, right, in order to make it work.
I went to when I made the changes in the skeleton and and committed and stuff. I made a repo on Bitbucket and committed everything there. I basically had two remotes, one private, one public, in the same GitHub, or same Git repo.
Yeah. I mean that would be an interesting thing to do. Would be to create a private one on and some sort of syncing. Anyway, to come back to looking at this thing, so it seems like.
One thing I'm not too happy about is like the updates to look at the gem file lock. Just a lot changed in there, and so I mean, if you wanted me to redo with not getting so many changes in there, I mean, I could be more specific.
I guess at the moment, I think we've got a point here in that this is working.
Yeah,
right?
and it does. You got to update your stuff sometime, right? So.
Well, that's. I mean, I think this is the thing. I'm kind of my confidence is bolstered slightly here by the fact that this is working in pseudo production.
Right.
So it seems like we can pull develop date into develop there, and I even feel like, because I kind of want to get all of the develop and all of the everything. I mean, in some ways, there's a little bit of false confidence here in the fact that I've added this additional thing of like disconnecting the skeletons like this, which is something that we also. But it seems like it's sensible to merge this pull request, and we've got that into develop. And so, in principle, the what we would, I guess, I could do here is, it should be okay in RAG if I'm doing git status here. it should be okay to switch this at least to develop, right? If I do git checkout develop, and this is on the staging grader, like so, we're now at least, it's not tied to your repo, right? It's now on origin develop, and we could just, this is the thing, so it won't, but it won't update that code until it's there. Okay, and that's the develop there. Okay, so do you just want to run rerun a test on the? Don't you? Well, yeah. I'm going to set up the BetaSaaSers Hangout now. But if you just want to run a test to see that that's still working, that would be really handy.
That's on staging.
That's on. So it's sort of where to test it depends a little bit on where you've got what you've got pointed to where. Like sensibly, the thing to do would be to go into the live, because the homework is now live.
Right.
So go into the live homework 4, like at the end of week 5.
Right.
And just
resubmit.
Yeah.
On production.
Yeah.
Although of course,
although what we've got, this is the thing that's confusing that we need to get away from, is that we've got the production. Well, this is the interesting thing, right? So that's actually pointing at production at the spring 2014 one.
Right. And I'll start the staging at this. They can overlap, I guess.
But also do the one that's that the other place, like the week 5.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Is that it's actually not the same one.
I mean, it's the. I mean, they may be pointing to the same thing now. I don't know. But it's called the students can see this one, and that's the one that they're currently submitting their homeworks to. So, we could be checking under the hood that they're pointing to the same queue, but this is the critical one.
Right.
Okay. But that's if that works, we could ultimately be pulling develop into the spring 2014 and then deploying that to the production grader with this appropriate testing, and that would sort of move us towards being in a better place for the next run of the course.
Alrighty.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go and create the other hangout. I'll see you there.
Yep. And we're no longer live.